What's up, everyone? It's Gabbie Trades here, and welcome back to the channel. Will the markets crash in September 2025, or will they catch us by surprise? Now, we're going to discuss that, and we're also going to look at key events today. But you guys, before we dive in, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe if you're new here, and hit the small bell notification so you never miss a live breakdown with me. How is everyone doing? Hello, time for a stream, everyone. So wake up, wake up, wake up. So here's me. Sorry, we had a little bit of a start like that. Basically, just this minute right now, we're expecting the ISM Manufacturing PMI, which is a key gauge on whether the economy is expanding or contracting. You guys, obviously, for this, we've discussed it before. The magic line is 50. So above 50 means expansions, below 50 means a contraction. So over here, that was the big question today. Will we stay above? Will we stay below this level? Now, this is a little bit of a surprise factor. A strong beat obviously would have meant that the markets are going to react super sharply and instantly. So that's why usually algos and traders are glued to these data. So let's see what happens over here. So we're having we had forecast of 49 over here, when previously we had 48. Obviously that's still below, but however, now we got slightly below 48.7. now this is not terrible, but it's still below. So why does this matter? Because the PMIs are directly influencing the Fed's expectations, right? And if in case we had a super strong print, that would have suggested that the economy is holding up, and it would make the Fed hawkish over here. So that usually would mean USDT up, yield up, equities under pressure. So that is not essentially too bad over here. So, of course, that was what we expected to see today in terms of news. Today, we're going to look at JOLTS opening. But yeah, that was important to see today. However, not very below expectations. So again, it's good for us because that is again more supporting rate cuts over here sooner than expected. So that's what we care mostly about over here. Now let's move into the topic that everyone is interested in around here on Twitter, CT, and as well as YouTube: seasonality. So we know that history doesn't repeat exactly, but it often rhymes over here. So looking back at this chart, back years when the S&P 500 would set a 12-month high in the last week of August, like it did this year, exactly the same way. September, usually after that, would have been then a rough month. These data over here are from 1951, last weeks of August, and we can clearly see over here that out of 12 times the S&P was down 10 out of all those 12 times, and the average drop over here for the S&P 500 is around 2%, with some years like 1986 and 1987 over here showing much steeper losses. So essentially, yes, statistically, September is one of the toughest months for equities after an August high. And we know that the equities is what drives the overall market sentiment anyway, so we need to be watching for that. Anyway, that doesn't guarantee that we'll see a red month, but it does highlight the seasonal headwind that we're walking into. So the key takeaway: if the markets wobble here, for us, that's not going to be anything unusual. Now, the real question stands on how is October through December going to play out, because historically, these months are a bit mixed to positive, even after a weak September. Of course, could this time be different? Could this year be different? Well, think about it, you guys. We had the S&P 500 soaring almost over 9%, the NASDAQ over 10%. That is literally their best summer since 2020. So this kind of strength is usually not the norm coming into September. So think about that. Think about inflation. Think about the corporate earnings that we've been getting, which have been pretty much good and they have topped expectations. Now, to me, it seems like the market is riding the momentum. And on top of that, we also have growing expectations for the rate cuts over here. Remember, we've been dancing in between 80-90% of probability for them being priced in September. So yes, overall, September has a history of being weak, but this summer performance and the macro backdrop suggests that this year might be different. So yeah, in my opinion, if we do see any weakness in September, I'm going to look at it from a perspective of a shakeout rather than a full-blown downturn, you guys. So moving on to the charts over here. By the way, everyone, we love your show. Thank you so much. You guys, make sure to smash that like button. And if you're new here, welcome. You guys, you're gonna get used to seeing my streams every Tuesday and Thursday. Over here is where we have the streams. So first of all, I know it's New York Open, but I do stream also on London Open, you guys, every day of the week. So if you want to get the data a little bit earlier, make sure to come in the description box and follow my main YouTube channel over here and check the description box for everything that I offer with a collaboration of Coin Bureau down here. Make sure you check that description box. So basically earlier today, I was discussing of course, I started with Bitcoin, but over here we had the USDT chart open. So let's have a look at that over here. So with the USDT chart, what's important to me is to note over here that on a 12-hour time frame, the USDT dominance chart is showing to me that it wants to go down. It wants to go below 3.9% over here. And that's again with the help of my indicators, I identify these weak points on the charts. And of course, using my range theory model, which again, this week you can sign up for the last week, you guys, in the wait list. Again, everything's in the description box. But according to my model over here, this is a sell zone pretty much for the USDT dominance over here. And what we can see here is that within that sell zone, we have had multiple rejections above it. So that to me is signaling that this is bearish. So again, when we had another pump into above the sell zone and quickly rejected so many times yet again, for me, that was a clear sell over here. And again, this triangular formation, I've made a video about these indicators, by the way, on how you can use them. But usually this triangular formation, when you have it with a weak low like that, you're looking for price to respect these double tops over here. So essentially price can travel up to that area, but then the expectations are for price to reject within this area over here. So that's for USDT dominance. Good morning, Brandon. Good morning, everyone. So happy to have you here, guys. It's always like my favorite time of the day to be here with you. So let's discuss Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin is at a very interesting place right now. Bitcoin is at an exceptionally interesting place right now. So first of all, not to sound like a downer, but you know, we are trading at levels that we saw back 8-9 months ago. You tell me, you guys, was it 8? Was it 9? I don't even know how far in the year we are. I can't believe it's September already. But basically, the daily support that we're having over here, it's exactly matching with prices that we used to see exactly in January when we had the inauguration of Trump, if you remember. So why am I looking at these levels over here as a support and resistance? Well, historically, when you have any levels like this that are massive, right, politically, or if you remember when we had 49K Bitcoin over here, right, the drops usually match to a very significant level. So if you go back and look at the 49K, you can clearly see that the drop specifically matched over here. Let's get the right tool to draw that. Specifically matched the top that was created over here. And now if you notice where that top was created, well, that was 10th. Was it 10th of January, 11th of January? I forgot, but I'm pretty sure it was 10th of January when we had the Bitcoin ETFs approved over here. Does that make sense? So that was a drop over here and rejected from this major area. So now we're kind of like in a similar situation where we're trading at levels where you know, politically that was a huge turn for history, right? We had the inauguration here for Donald Trump just around this daily support over here at 109,900 whatever Bitcoin over here. So the thing about today's price action, and earlier this morning when I was looking at this chart, right, I was long from the true week open down here, and then I'm still long of alts and Bitcoin. But the thing is, right, today when we opened over here, the opening was very weak for Bitcoin. We had a very weak opening this morning. So I was expecting here to have at least some sort of a mini short above the true day open down to whatever, right? At this point, it's just a hedge. So anyway, we opened today with the New York Open, and we have a splash to the upside with a nice break on the 1 hourly. 4 hourly hasn't closed yet, but the 1 hourly, it's closing well above here the daily support. However, let's not forget, this is daily support / resistance SR flip. So we really want to see this daily candle closing above over here. We want to see it closing above our daily support at 109.9. Now, the reason for that is because, like I said, this is a very important level from 8-9 months ago. And also we had this, you know, not very beautiful bearish engulfing candle over here. So what does a bearish engulfing candle means? If you're new to trading, bearish engulfing candle, very simple term, you know, you need to learn these things. It's when you have a candle that is completely engulfing the entire body of the previous candle over here. So this is what we had, and at such an important level, that was a very negative correlation over here. So I didn't really want to see that. Now, let's not forget, we're not out of the woods completely, because we have been bearish on Bitcoin since we had the first bearish engulfing candle over here. Not only because of that, but because we also had a confirmation short with this candle. The fact that it was engulfing, it was just an additional confluence, but that was there were further confirmations to that short over here. So like we discussed in the previous live streams, when we extend the standard deviation for this drop, the price essentially hasn't completed the move yet, right? So we have seen here that price is rejecting from 1.5. But usually for these kind of moves, I'm waiting for price to, at the very least, reach the -2 development of the standard deviation over here. So we haven't seen that yet. And that level is around 106, 105. So, you know, we need to be careful. Why do we need to be careful also? Well, because you can clearly see we've had a bearish confirmation, and then look at how price is healthily rotating for a bearish price action. So this might as well just be another rotation over here. It's going to be a very healthy bearish rotation for price to come down and create another lower low. So that's why my positions are secured, and I'm not playing anything risky right now, because I'm going to tell you one thing also, you guys, and this is important. I don't trade Mondays usually, because Mondays is when you get a move that would usually trap traders. Now, I consider the exact same concept for the first week of any month. So right now we're in the first week of September. So I usually consider that as a manipulation move, whatever this week gives us, right? So in a case scenario that this week is going to give us a bullish momentum to the upside over here, regardless to where, right? As soon as we start the true month open, because I start counting my months from the second week of the month, and don't go ahead and try mark it on your charts, because you're going to do it wrong. I do it in a very specific way, you guys. I am going to be expecting for price to be reversing. Right? And again, if you want to learn that model, make sure to get on the trading course waitlist, because this week is the only week, and I'm going to close the waitlist, and then the prices are going to be higher for everyone that hasn't been registered over here. So just make sure you register, even if you intend to buy it or not. It's just a safety net over here if you decide to do it. So the thing is over here, right? And you can see that For example, I've marked true month opens over here before, and you can see how price is reversing. Price is reversing over here. Price is reversing over here, right? Price is reversing over here. And essentially, I'm going to be expecting a similar sort of scenario over here to occur. Now, looking at how price is acting right now, to me, it really looks like this move right now is going to end up in some sort of a range over here. And don't forget, we're trading in between two daily supports. So it's very possible that this could be a ranging situation over here before we get a manipulation move either to the upside or to the downside, from which we can make better decisions. So it's just one of these times of the month right now where you need to be a little bit more cautious, because this is not a proven bullish momentum as of now. We don't have it confirmed, right? That well. Yes, the good thing is that over the weekend, you guys, because we haven't seen each other since last week, last Thursday, I told you that this is going to be the target for Bitcoin over here, right? And as you can see, that liquidity was nicely taken before price reversed. So this is what we gave last week as a target. Potential target. So now that we've taken that target, it is quite natural for price to reject from it, right? But the strength is not there as of yet. So that's important to note over here for Bitcoin, right? And again, we're talking about seasonality, about September and everything and what to expect, but the most important thing is the overall bias. What is the overall bias? September can do whatever the hell it wants, but the overall bias over here is that we are going to see bullish months within October, November, December, into January potentially, and then February we just pack our bags and we've had a good run whatsoever. But a lot of people, yes, you guys, make sure to hit the like button. Should I do a quick check on you? Let's have a look how many likes we have over here. Let's see if you're showing me the love. I'm on YouTube all the time, and I don't like switch off ads and stuff like that. So we have 112 people watching and we have only 28 likes. I do not understand that, and that makes zero sense for me. So you guys make sure to go ahead and smash that like button right now for me. So the thing is, right, it is quite possible. A lot of people are saying that this could be the top for Bitcoin, and they have quite a good case built around that. How's it, Z Trader? It makes a lot of sense because as per our calculations, right, it is very possible that Bitcoin could have topped around 123.062 or could have topped at 125, 1K135 over here. We have a bit more areas, but that's just the first standard deviation extension from the legs. So these are again the -2 areas that I spoke about with you a few minutes ago. This is the same, but for a bullish case scenario over here. So this is just the -2. You do have -3, you do have -4. So essentially, it is very possible that we might end up this bull run up to, 155K Bitcoin. Absolutely possible right now for that to happen. So yeah, I wouldn't lose hope in here, but I would just consider this as a shakeout, and I would still remind you that we haven't entirely completed this move. Yes, it's possible because we've taken a low time frame, which is 4-hour time frame for the swingers over here. That would be considered low. We have taken liquidity. It is possible that we see some kind of a move over here, but I will be looking out for a lower low developing as a very, very high possibility over here. Ethereum, everyone. So let's have a look at where are we standing currently with ETH. So first of all, most importantly, the liquidity on ETH is still there. 1,000 likes. Yes, you guys. We're gonna do DOGE as well, no problem. So the thing about Ethereum is all-time high liquidity, happy days, everything is fine. The same structure that we saw on the USDT dominance, you guys, exactly the same structure, but on the reverse. So what did we say last week? We're expecting over here, we're expecting for Ethereum to find support in between these two double bottoms over here. So that would mean that anything in between 4,050 Ethereum to 4,312, it's supposed to be an area of accumulation, so we can then continue to grab this liquidity over here on ETH. So essentially that's what we're seeing right now, and we're hoping for that to continue. Otherwise, if that doesn't continue, then that would mean that we're potentially seeing we're gonna face the daily support at around 4,100 over here for ETH, and even lower to the 4,000 levels. So we do need to be prepared for that case scenario over here. Solana, well, Solana, same thing, kind of. We've taken a liquidity here on a 4-hour time frame where price reverses from very healthy reversal, nothing too scary. Essentially what we were hoping for is for price to have a body close above this area, because this used to be a sell zone. So now that we finally got the body close above it, now we're considering anything that's playing out below this as a pullback and potential opportunity for reaccumulation for Solana, right? Because overall on Solana, 295k has been liquidity and should be definitely targeted as per the strategies, right? As per the models, as per the strategy. So once we break that level over here, that yellow buy breaker block over here, there should be nothing stopping Solana from going to 235. Right, there should be nothing stopping Sol. Let's draw it over here for you guys. From this not so very nice range, we need to find support and finally come up here to grab this liquidity on Solana over here, with a little bit of resistance obviously over here at 235. So these are the levels that we need to be very careful, you guys. You're most welcome, Aaron. We're gonna look at Doge for you, mate, in just 1 second. I just want to show you ENA, right? Because we predicted ENA as well quite nicely over here. The 1-hour time frame was very beautiful. Now, how did we make that prediction? Well, again, with the help of my indicators, you guys, make sure to go ahead in the description box and get the indicators. They're very cheap. Yes, you have to pay for them because the GOAT of trading indicators developed them and they need to be paid for their work. So yeah, with the help of the indicators, double liquidity formation, for anyone that's been watching my main channel for long, they know what a double liquidity formation is. Usually when we get these levels, we need to swipe one of the levels into a point of interest, in that case a massive buy zone over here, in order to come and take the following liquidity into resistance. Of course, price is going to reject. And where is price reacting from right now? Well, you can see it clearly. This is a 4-hour support level over here at ENA at 0.6683. All right, hope you guys are following. Hope you're finding this content easy. Let me know in the chat box, do you understand the things that I'm trying to teach you? Is it complicated for you? Can I make it easy so you guys can understand what we're doing over here? Doge, of course, one of my favorites over here. First thing we can see, hourly, we had to work with some liquidity here on the hourly time frame. Brilliant. So that's cleaned right now. Price is holding for dear life at the buy zone over here with a very clear target. Again, liquidity for Doge sitting at 0.22604. So you know, that needs to be clear. And have we reached to a point of an ultimate support here from the double top formation, a double bottom formation over here? Yes, we have. So essentially, it should be a clear path to go and clean that liquidity on Doge over here. Overall picture for Doge, we're going to talk about it right now. For our Doge fans over here, we're going to look at ADA as well. No problem, everyone. So Doge, very nice, very nice. It's honestly like one of my favorites. I like Doge. I like Pepe. These kind of, you know, coins. But so the thing about Doge is, right, we have a clear rejection here from the 0.5. Now, usually if we weren't in a bullish market, if we weren't in a bullish in a bull run, I would consider this extremely bearish, right? A rejection from the 0.5, I'll consider this extremely bearish. But because we are finding ourselves in a bull market, I am going to consider this as a simple retracement area for price to then go and target at the very least 0.39756. Now, on the weekly time frame, no current liquidity shown. Daily time frame, we just reviewed, there is nothing. 12-hourly time frame, nothing in particular. So over here, you would be expecting for the very least around 0.39756 based on the model that I trade. ADA, what can I tell you? You know, ADA is a little bit difficult to trade. The problem with ADA is, again, coming from a massive sell zone. We were expecting for that to be the case over here from mid-August. With the liquidity formation here to the downside that we formed. I don't know if you guys can see it quite clearly, but I can remove this a little bit so you can see. This was the liquidity that we needed to clear on a 12-hour time frame here for ADA. So now that's happened, and we have a clear daily support at 0.8117. So let's hope for that to be the final drop, right? Let's hope for that to be the final drop so we can see price move up. But let's not also forget that if that's not the case, the second zone is going to be down here for ADA, 0.758876, right? So from that, you would expect for price to find support and really bounce from here, right? For any deeper corrections here on a daily time frame, I can see that not only the buy zone, but it's also possible that price drops. But that's like it would have been a very steep drop for me to consider over here. You guys, you're most welcome. All right, we had a request for BONK, which I haven't looked in quite a while. Let's have a look at BONK over here. Yeah, so not my favorite chart, to be honest with you. Yes, we had a little bit of a run over here since we've taken a high over here, a major high, this one over here, and price completely tanked from that level. Can't really drop it over here, but let's do that. That's fine. So yeah, on a daily time frame, essentially very hard. But I would, you know what, unfortunately I'd have to consider the buy zone here a little bit lower for BONK. So that would essentially be this over here. Yes, we do have you know, for value gaps over here, but in combination with this breaker block, I think that's probably going to be more strong if we drop. The weekly bullish for value gap might as well hold, right? This is weekly time frame, so again, it might be the case. And to be fair, on a daily, if I have to refine the area on a daily time frame, let's have a look where that would be. Well, yeah, essentially you do have an area over here of interest, daily time frame supports, quite a few actually, if you look at it, quite a few supports over here. So yeah, these are going to be the areas that you would like to make a screenshot if you want, that I would consider a little bit strong, but I'd like to look at this on the weekly time frame. Unfortunately, the indicators are not giving too many targets over here, so I wouldn't really hope for much on this. So this was the liquidity over here that we've taken on a 4-hour time frame. We do have one above that here on Binance we haven't entirely taken. Let's go ahead and mark it so we see. Well, you can argue that, but let's zoom in. Is it taken? Is that liquidity taken, you guys? No, I don't think it is. It's barely like tapped. So yeah, that's kind of like a confirmation that we're most probably going to get BONK come back to these levels. There is a probability of that. In terms of is my mouse going to work over here? In terms of targets, this is going to be kind of difficult, but we still can draw the range over here. We still can do that. But unfortunately, it's not going to be, you know, a bullish range, which I usually like to see. But let's draw it. We draw it together. We shall draw it together. Yeah, I mean, I don't really like it, you guys. Honestly, like, even if price comes up and takes this high, I would probably be like, okay, maybe that's it. Like, I don't even know if it's going to get to the 0.786 area over here. Obviously, this is where the massive rejection happened as well. At the 0.786, I consider that a sell zone, very clear. We just discussed that. So yeah, even if we get to that level, I think it's going to be a big stretch. It's possible, but I don't know if it's going to happen. Like, to me, if price comes up here and clears clears the liquidity over here on a 4-hour, I will probably yeah, take profits over here if I'm trading that, to be honest, you guys. But yeah, that is overall for today. Let's have a look at Bitcoin, what it's doing right now. Okay, so still quite a momentum over here on this. I'm quite liking it, so that means my positions are doing quite well. So let's see what price does at around 111.971. That is going to be interesting over here, because we do have a small inside bar over here that as well could serve as a rejection point. Just be mindful that this could be a little bit of a bigger range, and in case this continues to like send up, I would be like cautious into the beginning of next week. But again, that's going to be a separate analysis. You guys were here Tuesday and Wednesday together. So like I said, if you want the earlier update for London session, for example, make sure to follow my main YouTube channel over here, Gabbie Trades. You have the links, and also you can check everything else I offer. If you're looking for somewhere to trade crypto, you can also find that in the description box, you guys. And okay, one more request we're gonna do here, CNX. I thought you were saying SSX. Like, this is not looking bad. On a 4-hour time frame, though, it's not looking bad. Overall, the chart is horrid. This is not something I'd like to trade at all. Even though there is liquidity to the upside, you know, with such a bearish chart, like, this could be left for like years after. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just not, you know, it's way too bearish for me for this year, in my opinion. But yeah, let's have a look over here on a lower time frame, what's happening. Well, daily is not really low time frame. Yeah, not a very pretty chart, to be fair. Like, daily, you know, the low over here is weak. Yes, you have support over here. Very weak chart, extremely weak. I would not be interested in that, to be honest. But this is what I can tell you from what I'm seeing and what the technicals are showing, is that this low over here at 0.546 is very weak. 4-hour time frame, however, it's showing that, you know, we might drop over here, but then there might be a chance for price to reprice to around 0.8. And from then on, yes, there is more liquidities up here, but it's not something that I would bet, you know, money on, right? 3.5, 3.6, yes, potentially, eventually, you know, which is quite a substantial gain around here, 450%. But I wouldn't know. There is no way how I would know if that's going to be the case this bull run. All right. Can it? All right, XRP, you guys. Let's have a look at the XRP together. Although we've discussed XRP quite a few times, but yeah, let's dive into it one more time. Well, again, like price is trying to hold for dear life over here. I don't like the closes below daily support / resistance over here. Too many closes. Price is not convincing to me at all at this point. This was a buy zone. Price traded below, essentially could very easily turn back into a sell zone. So yeah, you know, we just need to be mindful. We just need to be mindful. 2.58 for support, 2.35 for support on XRP. So yeah, right, look, the buy zones are not holding. Price is extremely weak. It's not showing too much momentum at the moment at all, to be fair. Let's look on the weekly. Weekly is fine. Like, weekly is not too bad. Weekly is looking fine. Like, everything is going to be fine on XRP. So let's say XRP starts trading below $2. That's when everything is going to hell, like for XRP on a weekly time frame. But I don't think that's going to be the case, which of course automatically means that we need to be looking at all the areas above for support, and that's $2.8, $2.5, $2.335 for XRP. But again, thank you so much for being here, you guys. Make sure to smash that like button. And if you're new here, welcome. Please make sure to make my live streams, because we have so many people here that are new every single day. You guys make sure to follow my main channel as well, and I shall see you in the next one.